You ever have those days where you feel completely overwhelmed? Like your head is spinning, you're juggling a million different things, and you just can't see straight? Yeah, it's a feeling we all know. But what if I told you there's a clear path through all that chaos? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore. So here's the plan. We're going to walk through a 5-step journey, pulling some incredible insights along the way. We'll start with that feeling of drowning in doing, and go all the way to finding real, actionable clarity in the quiet.
All right, let's dive right into part one, because this is something I think we can all relate to. It's that feeling of being completely swamped. You know, you're busy all day long, but at the end of it, you feel like you got absolutely nothing done.
This right here, man, this captures that feeling perfectly. It's pure overload, that crisis moment where you're just reacting, trying to keep a million plates spinning, and you can barely even think straight. It's brutal.
Think about it like this. It's like you're on a stationary bike. You're pedaling like crazy, sweating, putting in all this effort. But then you look down, and you haven't moved a single inch. You're still in the exact same spot. All that work for nothing.
Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the antidote? How do we get off the stationary bike? Well, it all comes down to the incredible power of singular focus. That's the solution.
So how do we fight back? We use a simple but powerful idea. Not all of your effort is created equal. You've probably heard of the 80-20 rule. The whole point isn't to do more. It's to find that one key action, that 20% that's going to give you 80% of your results. It's like finding the one domino that knocks down all the others.
And finding it is actually a pretty simple rhythm. First, you got to step back and see the big picture. Then, from that bird's eye view, you identify the single most important task. After that, you dive in and give that one thing all of your focus. And then, you get that win, you feel that momentum, and you do it all over again.
And this is how you get your power back. See, when you're overwhelmed by a million choices, you're basically paralyzed. But focus acts like a filter. It cuts right through all that noise, and it gives you back the steering wheel, allowing you to finally take that one intentional step forward. Okay, now this next part gets a little nuanced. We're going to explore the very fine line between preparing effectively and just using preparation as a way to avoid the real work. It's a tricky one. You know that old saying about sharpening the axe before you chop down the tree? That's the idea here. A little smart preparation up front means the actual work, cutting the tree, gets done way faster and way more efficiently.
But, and this is a big but, there's a dangerous trap here. On one hand, smart prep is all about getting the job done better. But it can so easily slip into what's called active procrastination. That's where you get so obsessed with sharpening the axe that you never, actually cut down the tree.
So at the end of the day, it really just comes down to being honest with yourself. You have to ask this question. Are you sharpening this axe to be more effective, or are you just avoiding the scary part of actually making the cut?
All right, let's talk about a huge mental block for so many of us. That secret fear that you're the only one who has no idea what they're doing. Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Pretty much everyone is winging it.
It's like that classic image of a swan, right? So calm, so graceful, just gliding along. That's what we see on the outside. But what we don't see is that underneath the water, their feet are paddling like crazy just to stay afloat. We're always comparing our frantic underwater paddling to everyone else's calm exterior.
And what's really interesting is that winging it isn't just one thing. There's a creative way to do it. That's when you're being courageous, you're trying something new. But then there's the deceptive kind, which is just pretending you know what's up, being unprepared, or even lying. One builds trust, the other shatters it.
So the real superpower here is just being authentic. Admitting you don't have the answer isn't a weakness, it's actually a strength. It gives everyone else around you permission to be honest too. And that's where real teamwork, real collaboration begins.
Okay, let's bring this all home. We're going to see how all these ideas tie together. And it all starts in a place most of us try really hard to avoid: silence.
Think about how often we rush to fill every single moment with noise. Podcasts, music, TV, whatever. But when we actually resist that urge, when we just sit in the quiet for a minute, silence offers up something incredible. An untainted, undisturbed truth that usually gets drowned out by all the chaos in our heads.
And I want to be really clear here. Silence isn't about achieving some state of perfect emptiness. That's not the goal. It's about quieting down all the mental clutter, the worry, the to-do lists, so that inspiration finally has some room to breathe. And it's right there, in that quiet space, that your one thing can finally show up.
And this right here, This is the whole path. This is the flow. You start by creating space for silence. In that silence, you receive inspiration. That inspiration gives you your focus, your one thing. Then you act on it with energy. And then, and this part is so important, you actually rest and enjoy the results, completely guilt-free, before you start the cycle all over again.
So, we'll end with this thought. The answers you need to cut through your own chaos, to find your one thing, they're probably already there, just waiting for you in the quiet. The only question left is, are you taking the time to listen? What is your silence trying to tell you?